As part of our winter Catnation Confidential series, we had a chance to look at the women's basketball team as we talked to third-year head coach Allison Nichols, as well as sophomores Allie, Druffel, and Megan Russell about this year's team.
We're here with third-year head coach of the women's basketball team at Randolph College, Allison Nichols. And coach, you're coming off your first practice of this year. Great to see all the women out there in the basketball court. And looking at your team, you return almost 90% of your scoring from last year's team and a huge production from your first-year class, now sophomores. Just talk about what they bring to your team this year.
They bring a lot. You know, again, we primarily played freshmen last year. Again, you know, they accounted for 80-85% of our scoring alone. Most games we started, you know, 4 of our 5 starters were freshmen. So they got a lot more experience than I think typical freshmen got. So yes, they are sophomores and technically still underclassmen, but again, they've got a lot of experience under their belt. So I think that they're a little more advanced. And again, you know, anybody that has a year under their belt kind of knows what to expect, you know, from the pace of play, from practices, you know, from the league, and that type of thing. So I certainly think that's going to be a big benefit for us.
And having that sophomore class back, obviously they've become leaders for you. And you look at your team, you have 17 players on the roster this year, the biggest team that's ever been here at this school. And with that comes a lot of new faces as well. So just talk about some of the new incomers that you really expect to contribute this year.
Yeah, again, we're lucky to have such a great class coming back. You know, that's really, really important to our program, to really start to establish, you know, a tradition and building a little bit. And again, we've got a great group coming in to mix with them. You know, we have a transfer that's going to be a junior, Emily Dunton. So, you know, just having a junior and having a little leadership from that position is certainly going to help us. And we've got a great group of freshmen that I think are really going to benefit from, you know, a lot of our sophomores and a lot of our returners. But also bring a lot to the table as well. You know, we got some depth in the post that we needed with Lindsay Higgins and Megan Knickerbocker, and we've certainly got, you know, got some shooters in there with Georgia Logan and Abigail Bullens. And again, we've got a lot of depth, I think, at every position. You know, from our guards with Nikki Mathis and Bria Carlisle, we pretty much you know, can compete at every position. So I think that's really important, especially at this point in the year.
You look at your roster, you have one senior coming back, Olivia Johnson. This is her third year playing. She missed her first year with a knee injury. Just talk about what she brings and as a leader trying to, you know, mold that young group together.
Well, you know, she works really, really hard every single day, and that's, you know, something that I think sometimes you take for granted, especially from some older players. And, you know, she's been around the block for a couple years, so again, she knows what to expect, but also she knows kind of the level that she needs to bring to practice and really needs to bring to games. You know, again, she works really hard. She's got a great attitude. She brings a lot to the table, so we're really excited to have her, you know, back for another year.
Coach, you've got 17 players on the roster right now. If there was one player that you really expected to take a step forward, maybe that was on the team last year, maybe not, and really provide a lot for you, who would that be?
You know, I think that's yet to be seen. Again, we've got some freshmen that I think can contribute right away. We have some returners that are coming off some pretty solid years last year, so they have a little bit to build on. We're still kind of looking for some leadership, and we'd like to see who's going to step up in some of those roles and really be a leader for our team on and off the floor, because I think that's something that we've lacked a little bit in past years. And again, something that we've lacked just for lack of having, you know, upperclassmen. We really don't have a lot of that. So it's going to be interesting in this next, you know, couple weeks of practice who really stands up and takes a leadership role for us.
Coach, the last question. You look at your schedule. Obviously 16 conference games this year, down from 20. You get some more non-conference games. Just talk about your schedule and also talk about the depth in the ODAC. Obviously Shenandoah added this year. And what do you expect out of your schedule?
Well, I think we have a good schedule. Again, I like going to the 16 conference games, so it gives us a little bit of a chance to travel a little bit, but also, you know, play some other teams, usually, you know, kind of in bordering states. So we do have a lot of road games early, so we should definitely be tested on the road, but hopefully that will, you know, that will help us in the long run once we get into ODAC games and some of our road games. You know, the ODAC is kind of a given every single year. It's you know, it's tough top to bottom, so I really don't think that's going to change at all this year. Again, adding Shenandoah is just only going to add to the depth of the league.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time, and good luck this week and in the coming weeks in practice, and then obviously when you get started here in November.
Thanks.
Here with sophomore center Megan Russell. And Megan, you are coming in your sophomore year. You're part of that huge sophomore class that accounted for almost 80% of the scoring. Just talk about what that class means and how they're becoming leaders this year.
As far as it means, we're still almost half the team, so we still have a lot of experience and a lot of new things to offer in leadership for the freshmen coming in. And it also helps prepare us for next year in our role as complete leaders for the team. And it just helps us guide and kind of tell the freshmen what Coach Nichols would want.
You look at your team. You've had a couple of days of practice now. Just talk about how practice has been so far and what you expect out of this year.
Practice has been intense. Coach hasn't taken anything. We've been working hard. There's a lot of enthusiasm, so we've just been working hard to get better.
You talked about some of those first years, a big first-year class coming in. Just talk about some names that you really expect to step up this year and contribute.
We got two really good post players that offer a lot of size and skills, and we also have a couple guards as far as being skill-wise that can also help take some of the pressure off our point guards with handling the ball.
Part of that sophomore class that was so important to last year's success. You've had a chance to see the girls in practice a couple of days. Who is a sophomore, maybe a returner that you really expect to take a step forward this year?
I think Johanna will definitely take a step forward this year. She was a recruit. Well, she came in late last season, so hopefully she'll get more playing time this year, and she's been really practicing hard. She's a hustler. She can shoot the ball, and she can definitely take it into the basket and score.
Allie, you look out on the floor right now, and there's 17 players out there, one of the biggest rosters here at the school ever. And obviously with that comes a big first-year group. Just talk about some of the new players that you expect to really have an impact this year.
The post players, Lindsay and Megan, they're great. They hustle, they're fast. They have some really good post moves. And also, Georgia has a really nice shot that I think will be very beneficial, and so is Bria. She's very fast. Defensively, she'll be great.
Well, Allie, I appreciate the time, and good luck this year.
Thank you.
Make sure to follow the women's basketball team on Facebook and Twitter, as well as on the new official home of Randolph Athletics at www.randolphwildcats.com.